our trainers are, as you can see, we have Dr. Victor Yamo. He is currently the World Animal Welfare, he's an animal welfare with World Animal Protection. He's an animal welfare manager with World Animal Protection in the Kenyan chapter, and he has vast experience in the chicken production for food security, and he'll be talking to us about animal welfare. What are the practices, what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to chicken production? Because if you don't meet some quality standards or some welfare standards, then some markets may reject your chicken products. So you need to observe that. Then our second speaker will be Dr. Paul Kang'ethe. He's our resident vet at Farm Kenya, and he comes with over 5 years practicing experience as a veterinary doctor. And he is actively involved in ensuring that we get the right livestock or animal welfare, animal production, animal, everything about the animal business and the livestock business at Farm Kenya. In that, to say that he brings you stories on our newspaper, that is The Standard. He brings you stories on our TV station, that is KTN Farmers TV. He brings you stories on our radio station, that is Radio Maisha, all about livestock production. He'll be talking to us about record keeping and a vaccination protocol, or the right vaccination procedures when it comes to poultry. Then lastly, we shall hear from Dr. Muyale Nicholas. He has over 15 years of experience in East Africa and over 5 years. They will actually be telling you more about themselves. And currently, Dr. Muyale is a consultant. Of course, he consults for different organizations, but mainly Soulcell Enterprises. So our schedule today, of course, the welcome remarks and the Zoom how-to, which I've done, where I stated, if you have a question, please raise your hand. If you go to the bottom of your screen, you're going to see different icons, starting with the mute and unmute, then Q&A, then there are polls, and then there will be a segment, or rather a button for you to raise your hand. Should you have a question, please utilize that. If you cannot raise your hand, feel free to text, or rather to write your question on the Q&A segment. Then right now, I'd like to welcome Dr. Muyale, who will be taking us through the different opportunities in the poultry industry. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Muyale.
Good evening. I don't know if I want to confirm if you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you quite clearly.
Okay. As you've been told, my name is Dr. Muyale Nicholas. I'm a veterinarian by profession. I've been in poultry for quite some time. Since I graduated, I've been practicing poultry. I'll request Yogi to share the screen if you can for my presentation.
Okay.
I'll be very brief because of time. Mine is just to provoke the participants to see that there are more opportunities in poultry industry, probably more than what you think you want to do. And in this brief presentation, I'll share the opportunities that are there for you as a stakeholder in poultry industry to pick from. You can go to the first slide. My objective, therefore, is to showcase the available investment opportunities in poultry industry. You realize that there are many opportunities. Probably most of you will be thinking of production only, but there are many other opportunities. And in this brief presentation, you'll be able to see the opportunities that are there and where you can take advantage of. And that's why we have this platform. You want to know the opportunity that you are interested in, you can therefore engage further and get to know more, then you can venture into that opportunity. So I will just go to the next slide. The next on the introduction, please.
Okay, a minute.
The next.
Sorry.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. The poultry industry, actually poultry contributes to 30% of the agricultural GDP, that gross domestic products, and agriculture contributes 26%. So 26% of what agriculture contributes to domestic products in Kenya, poultry contributes 30%. That means that's a very big percentage. You consider that agriculture is so wide. So poultry is a very key industry in this country. And when you look at the poultry structure in Kenya, you'll find that most of the poultry commercial chicken productions are concentrated around, they are concentrated around urban centers. And you'll find indigenous chicken is mostly farmed in the rural areas. Though there's some interest in indigenous chicken even in urban centers, and some poultry setups are coming up around the urban centers, but majority will be found in the rural areas. Poultry meat consumption will increase from, by the year 2000, it was to be 84.8 metric tons, and by the year 2030, it will be 164 metric tons. That is the poultry meat. But poultry as a whole, poultry production in Kenya is expected to increase from 56.9 metric tons to 1,666 metric tons by 2030. So by the time we'll be achieving our 2030 vision, we will be having more poultry produced and more poultry consumed. And this is why it's important we see where we can venture in. So by the year 2030, when the demand is high, we are able to supply, be it the chicks, be it the meat, be it the input. Poultry production system is a mix in Kenya. You find it's a mix of family businesses. You'll find and some commercial operations. So you'll find in a normal setup, you'll find a farmer has some poultry which is just for family consumption, and also some poultry which is for sale. And most of them are small holders, farmers. The big enterprises don't do mix; they just do commercial operations. So and you look at poultry in Kenya, there's a varying degree of modern technology. Though in terms of technology, we are yet to invest in it a lot, because most of the farms are still using they are more mechanized they are more manual than mechanized, and you'll find most of the operations are depend on human input compared to advanced farms where machines do most of the things, including even counting and the packaging of eggs. So in Kenya, we are still developing, and some few farms have invested, especially in broiler, in mechanized production. But in the layers, I think we are still using manual systems. Next. Now, I don't know if you can zoom. When you look at the poultry value chain, there are various sections of the poultry value chain that you can look at and see which opportunities are available. We normally start with the input supply. So if one can choose to be an input supplier, you will supply day-old chicks or hatching eggs, which mostly will be imported. At this stage, it will be imported. Input supply, please, the first node on input supply. Yeah, you'll can you zoom it? Can you shift to the left, please? I want to see both the supply and the opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now you can see on the input supply, you can supply day-old chicks or hatching eggs. Mostly, as this hatching eggs mostly will be imported. You can supply poultry equipment. You can supply feeds and raw materials and that finished feed. You can do veterinary input supplies. That's drugs, vaccines, medicines. That drugs are medicines, vaccines, and chemicals. Chemicals in this case, we are talking about disinfectants and other chemicals that are used on the farm. You can do buildings. You can do housing. Litter, that is wood shavings and other litter material, like rice husks and the rest. You can supply heaters, that's GCOs, gas burners, infrared bulbs. You can supply charcoal, briquettes, gas, and you can also supply technical expertise. So the opportunities that are available at this point, at the input supply point, that is the import of day-old chicks and or hatching eggs. You can do agribusiness. You can do day-old chick agents, that's DOC agents. You can make briquettes and sell, and I think briquette industry is coming up slowly, and briquettes are very good for brooding. You can supply feed, raw materials, and also you can offer technical services. If you are able to do construction, you can be doing construction of poultry houses, and that is an input. And lastly, if you have a well set up farm, it can be a demonstration farm where farmers come to learn and see what is done on poultry farms. And all these opportunities can be ventured into and you can get income from it. Another opportunity that is when you look at the value chain, you can be a producer, and therefore you can produce day-old chicks if you have a breeder farm. You can produce meat, that is from broiler. You can broilers. You can produce eggs from layers. You can do both meat and eggs from dual-purpose birds, and that's where we have the improved Kenyaji chicken, and even Kenyaji chicken they do both. And then you can produce feed if you have a feed mill, and you can produce manure. Though you can't keep chicken just for manure, but manure is a byproduct of can be a product that you can produce on the farm. And therefore, the opportunities that are available for you is production of eggs, meat eggs, and meat birds. You can do contract farming in broilers. Contract farming is a very common find where you keep birds with a contract agreement with a processor. So you produce, and then the processor does the processing. The contract farming you can have a breeder farm where you produce day-old chicks, and then hatching eggs, and then the eggs are taken to the hatchery. You can still have a breeder farm and a hatchery, so that the eggs that you produce, they are hatched, and therefore you can do hatchery business, you can sell manure, you can produce feeds, and another upcoming enterprise is organic chicken. Also, these are very good business. It's a niche market, so very few people can really venture into this. Now, another level, you can be a processor. You can process either meat or eggs, and at this level, you can have a slaughter facility, either for your own production or for people can come and pay. They slaughter their birds and they pay you probably per bird. You can have a company, if it's a company abattoir like Ken Chick and I think currently Ken Chick and Quality Meat Packers QMP. They have their own abattoir, and you can do processing where you do meat cuts, or you cut you have special cuts from the chicken and you sell. You can package and grade shell eggs. The other thing that you can do, which is an upcoming venture, and I don't know if there's any in Kenya, you can do powdered milk egg or liquid egg, and you can be a processor of that. And the reason why this normally done when there's excess eggs, and so in this country, I don't know if powdered and liquid egg processors can really get eggs for that business, but it's an opportunity that's available. another level of trading. So after processing the trading, and you can sell live birds, you can sell meat, that's broiler meat, dual purpose birds, the also meat. You can sell eggs, manure, and feeder. And this at this level, the opportunity that's there is export. You can export, especially meat and eggs. You can be a franchise of a company like I think Kentic used to have franchises where they were doing their broilers. You franchise business. You can have a hotel where you buy the chicken and cook and sell to the consumer. You can have a butchery for poultry or chicken butchery. You can do catering business where you buy chicken and you do outside catering services. You can be a supplier to institutions, hotels, and supermarkets. You can sell to animal feed companies, the feeder, and they are also, you can sell the manure to farmers and the dairy farmers, dairy cattle keepers, especially the manure for feeding the dairy animals. And then you can sell to pig farms, dog owners, and roadside vendors, especially the offals. The offal, that is the intestines, the legs, and the head. They are sold to this particular market. Now, there's another level where it's a facilitative role, and that is transportation. At this level, you supply, you transport inputs either at any of this at any level of this poultry value chain. You can supply input, you can transport inputs, live birds, manure, eggs, meat, and waste. So these are, you are offering a service to any of these, a producer, an input supplier, a processor, and you can identify which one needs your service. So you, at this point, you can be a distributor of day old chicks. You can be a distributor of eggs. You can be a distributor of meat products and feed. You can do delivery of birds to abattoirs and markets. Some of the companies might not be having the lorries to transport the birds, and they are specific designs. So when Dr. Yama will be presenting on animal welfare, there's a designed way. There's a designed recommended design of a lorry or a transporting vehicle for the birds. So there might be less. So you can have one where these companies can hire from you, and then you can do waste disposal services. I don't know if there's any company doing it. There is an opportunity that is there. Next slide, as I conclude, there's one, yeah. So in a nutshell, there are so many opportunities, but the ones that I've picked out are production of further processed products such as pre-cooked meat products and franchise products. We know some companies. I don't know in Kenya if we have franchise products, probably at the consumer level, but at the producer level or processor level where you produce on behalf of another company, you might not be having that, but it is possible if you have a facility that meets the standards. Pre-cooked meat in this country, I don't know. I've not seen pre-cooked chicken, but I've only seen pre-cooked beans. But I don't know but it's done. It's doable. So these are, because of the nature of people who are very busy, they just want quick meals. Pre-cooked meat will be a very ideal product. You can do expansion of broiler breeding facilities to meet the country not condensed hatching egg requirements. You realize if you have a hatchery, to get the hatching eggs, especially for the commercial birds, might not be easy. So if somebody can come up with a breeder farm just to produce hatching eggs, that is a business that can boom. Then large production bases to provide an opportunity for local poultry industry, develop exports to neighboring countries. Kenya is more of an importer than an exporter. But I've received calls from people in Somalia, in Sudan, in Ethiopia. They want to import products from Kenya, especially day old chicks and hatching eggs. And nobody is able to produce for them. the country consumption production is very low and the consumption is very high, so we can't afford to export. It's possible we can do large production and export. Then improving efficiency of production as in feed conversion and energy-friendly housing. In Kenya, for example, 84% of the country's chickens are indigenous. And unlike modern broilers, not very feed efficient. So we can improve on, and that's why I said on input supply, somebody can do housing where you have improved their housing and therefore improved feed conversion, improved because we'll be keeping the commercial birds. Therefore, farmers will not be struggling with the free range chicken, which is not efficient. And then lastly, the supply of raw materials, equipment, medication, and vaccines. Probably on equipment, medication, and vaccines, we are doing well. But the raw materials in the country, we have a challenge with supply. We depend mostly from Uganda and Tanzania suppliers. Locally, we have very little production. Probably we need to relook at how we can have self-reliance and we can have our own quality products. I think that is the end of my presentation. I hope I've taken 20 minutes. I want to thank you, Joki, and the Farm Kenya team for this opportunity. I just opened up the eyes of the farmers, but when it comes to specifics, probably in the discussion in the plenary, they can make requests and we can see what we can discuss specifically for their needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Moyale. Indeed, it's a very enlightening conversation. I didn't know that you can make powdered eggs. And I'm just thinking, after you've made powdered eggs, how do consumers consume them? But maybe that's a question we can address later on in the Q&A. As I've seen, there's already a question from Mr. Joe Njeri.